Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Me and Kara are back for Women's Wellness Wednesday. You want to say hi?
Good morning. I hope everyone's having a good day so far, and we're glad that you're here with us.
Yeah. So, I had an idea. Before we dive into the morning meditation, why don't we just do like a mental check in, you and I?
That's pretty good. You want to go first or me?
Go ahead.
Okay. I think right now I'm okay. Worried, a little bit anxious, but I know that everything will be okay. Been dealing with a lot lately. Yeah.
I think it's good to just remember, even in like the busiest of times, to like recognize where you're at mentally. Sometimes as a mom or just a person, you get away from yourself. And mentally this morning, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty excited about the changes happening in my life. A lot is going on in the recovery world for me, and that is all thanks to um, my sobriety, my recovery, and just staying the course, trusting the path. So feeling pretty good this morning.
Yeah, and I'm super proud of you just to see your growth and everything that you're doing for the community and our youth. And I just can't wait to see what you do next. Super proud of you.
Thank you, Kara.
You're welcome.
That was awesome to see all the ladies that were at the casino.
The grand opening yesterday. Yep.
All the women.
Our women in leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I like to promote them. We have some amazing women working for Lucky Star Casino, and a lot of us have worked together for many, many years. So it's been cool to see their growth in the industry too, So I mean, I really enjoy the ladies that I work with.
It's awesome. I just want to shout out to Christina, Katie, and Barry. I was able to tune in for Mental Health Monday and Trauma Tuesday, and they had so much good stuff to say, so many tools. It's crazy when you go from being an addiction to a recovery community and you have so many good people that are like-minded and open-minded, and just are willing to share their experiences. And I learned so much from all of them, and so I really appreciate them doing that. It was great.
I always like listening to Barry. He has that native humor, but still can hit the right topics, But I feel like throwing in the humor is essential to healing, and it just helps kind of ease some of those heavier topics, And I love Christina. I can't get enough of her too, and all the things that she's done for this tribe. She's an amazing woman.
Absolutely. Katie, Christina, and Barry, I knew all three of them before I ever even stepped foot through those doors. And it's crazy how, my higher power puts people in your path.
Yep.
For a reason. Like, I met them outside of the, recovery community, and I just think that's really cool. I feel like he sets you up with good people.
Yep. For sure.
All right, you want to get into this morning meditation?
Let's do it, sister.
Okay. February 26th. If I can find it. There we go. All right. Winter Meditations with Native American Elders. The Great Spirit is the one that's looking after us. Jimmy Jackson, Ojibwe. The only place our minds can find peace is when our focus is on the Creator. Daily, we need to ask the Creator to direct our thinking. When we look at our brothers and sisters, we need to see the Creator in them. When we look at the trees, plants, and the animals, we need to realize the Creator is within us. Our attention needs to be on the Creator. When we work, we do it for the Creator. When we are troubled, we need to pray to the Creator. When we are happy and joyful, we need to realize we are feeling the presence of the Creator. Thinking God thoughts will produce peace. Oh, great mystery, let me focus on you today. What stands out to you in that?
I think I have a little bit of a different perspective when it comes to spirituality, but I think that um, seeing Creator in all of us and everything around us, that ties back to our, indigenous ways too. And I believe that way too. There's Creator in everything. He created all of us, created the animals, the flowers, and looking around it and appreciating that is appreciating Creator.
Yeah. Sometimes these are like tongue twisters to me.
Yeah, that sounded hard to read. I would have tripped up on it
I'm
for
gonna
sure.
have you read it next week.
Okay.
What stood out to me is when we are troubled, we need to pray.
Yeah.
When we are happy and joyful, that's a reminder. You can't just pray when times are hard. You can't just ask for things when you're, struggling or in need. Like
Right.
you have to remember to honor him every day. And I appreciate you sharing your you have a different perspective on higher power, and I think that that's important because not everyone has the same.
No, and everyone has different beliefs. I think it's different for everyone, and I believe that whatever makes you happy and brings you peace in your life, that I'm happy for you. And I feel like everyone should believe that way, and it doesn't affect me how you believe or how someone else believes, but I respect you and your beliefs. And I want you to continue your beliefs for what makes you happy. And that's how I feel for everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah. You put it in the perfect words. I like that.
Because at the end of the day, in my opinion, we're all brothers and sisters. We all want the same thing in life, to be happy and to be loved. And I think that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. The reminder to pray has been something like when you first step into recovery, they teach you that you need to start with prayer and meditation to guide you through your day.
Yeah.
Because there will be hiccups, there will be roadblocks that give you those uncomfortable feelings that you used to not be able to handle,
It can quiet your mind down too. Meditating or, prayer, however you pray, gives you a time to, clear your mind, to have that quiet time and recenter and focus on what you need to focus on.
Yeah. I read a post and it said, I can't remember the whole thing, but it was basically like, your first workout will be bad, your 1000th workout will be great. And like your first meditation will be distracted and your 1000th meditation will be quiet and
peaceful, right?
And just to stay the course, be persistent, basically.
See, for me, the first 5 minutes of any workout is terrible. But after you're done, you feel amazing.
Absolutely.
Right? Same with prayer, same with meditation. It might be hard to be quiet down your mind. For me, it is. I have anxiety and ADHD and my mind's everywhere. But once you get in touch and you're done with your meditation, I always feel better. For sure.
Yes. If you can stay focused, you will. That's my problem,
Yeah.
Staying focused, staying quiet. I actually started the thing about me is being an all or nothing person.
Oh man, me too.
I learned about that in recovery, and I am very much all or nothing. When my sponsor was still here, she used to point out, like, I would come to her with this situation, and she'd be like, well, you are an all or nothing person, Tatum, And so basically, I'm not consistent with the things that I know will benefit my life.
Oh, me too, girl.
So I started up with a workout, not last night, but the night before. And I get through the first, like, maybe 10 minutes or something. And I'm like, that was the warm up. Like,
yeah.
Like, I could barely make it through the warm up,
Yeah.
And I gave it my all and I got into the workout and I didn't finish it, but I did what I could. And I think that that's important.
That is important.
You have to start somewhere.
Should we read some of these comments? Carrie says good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Janelle, Karen. Jake says, "Is this no boys allowed?" Asking for a friend. No, we love our men and our guys. Anybody's welcome. It's just focusing on women's wellness is the topic. Richard says, "Hi, Richard. Pray every morning, first thing, and every night before you sleep, and ask to do God's will." Very true.
Absolutely. I can't remember if I talked about this before, but I was talking to an elder, and it was my daughter's. I don't know. I guess you could say one of her grandpas. Yeah,
Mhm.
not by blood, but her grandpa, and he we ended up having a really deep conversation after a funeral service one time, and they were just so happy to see me doing better. I think the last time they had seen me, I was probably pretty deep in my addiction, and he said, when you pray, align your heart and your head. And I said, I'll have to try that next time. And he said, no, do it. And so, like, I don't know, I start my prayers with that, for one, open my heart and my mind, but also align the two.
Mhm.
And I've just figured out different ways for my prayer and meditation that I feel help me, and
Yep.
I think that any way we can grow in faith and in whatever we believe in is so important,
Yep.
growing in faith. So we didn't get on here last week because I was in training.
The weather was bad too.
Yes, I'm grateful that my training was over Zoom and I didn't have to miss out on any of that. And I was able to stay home with my kids and keep them safe and warm and cook for them and cook for my family. It was great.
Yeah, I like the snow days or the ice days. I guess it was ice, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
I enjoy the extra time with my kiddos.
Do you feel so I enjoyed about the first 2 days, and by the third day, I'm like, okay, I'm off of my routine for one, and for two, I just need to get out of the house.
Yeah.
I need to, even if it's just going to get a coffee or going to get a drink. So do you feel like that could have a negative effect on you, or are you totally cool with just?
I can see how it would, but for me, no, I'm totally cool with being at home. Totally.
Really?
With my kids. Now, wait, let me reel that back a little bit. I enjoy my little guy so much. My teenagers, they give me a run for my money though. Love them to death. Love them to death, but by that third day of a snow day, yeah, I'm ready for them to go back to school.
Teenagers.
It's hard. Yeah, motherhood with teenagers is the most difficult thing that I've ever done in my entire life. And I've been through some stuff. But
I know who to turn to
oh girl, I'll be here for you.
And we'll be going through that phase together too
with Ashton and Josie. Yep. I told my friend I was having dinner with a group of friends a couple weeks ago, and I have a friend. She has a teenage daughter who just turned 17 yesterday, actually. But we were talking, and she was talking about her having a hard time with her daughter, and I said, Chelsea, if you want to meet up and go scream in the woods, I'm totally down because it's hard, it's rough.
You need that sometimes.
Sometimes, man.
That release.
Yep.
For sure. Yeah, I can only imagine. I feel like I have a 6-year-old teenager right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was able to get medicine wheel and 12-step certified for the youth. That was
Yay.
great training.
Good job, Tatum.
I learned so much, and I brought some of my notes here that I learned. Just little things that stuck out to me, and one of the first ones was anything that has purpose to you can help you, and that kind of just generalizes recovery and what we're doing. Like, my recovery has purpose to me, and or little things that I do that have purpose to me, I don't know. You can look at that from many different perspectives, but that really stuck out to me. I learned a lot about how to talk to the youth, how to work with them, teach the youth. And I'm also learning by doing, um, each new day, each new, group that we have, talking circle, I learn something new that I maybe should or shouldn't do. And I like, we were talking about the weather and staying inside.
Mhm.
Like the cold weather can be hard for kids too,
Yep.
So I kind of did a little mental check-in with them on that. How is this cold weather affecting you? And on that first nice day, Josie got home from school. She walked in the front door and she walked out the back door to go play basketball. Like the sunshine makes them happy,
Yeah, everyone needs sunshine.
Yes.
It's essential. Vitamin D. It's essential.
Definitely made me feel.
I think like
Feel better.
we were talking about this morning too, about talking about emotions, that sometimes we forget that our kids have big emotions that they don't know how to handle. And I speaking of teenagers, I have to check myself as a mom and say, hey, they're going through hard times too, and the world is hard for them, and they're allowed to have emotions. Because I try to tell my kids that, I encourage them to feel their emotions and not be ashamed to cry, or, how to process things in a healthy way. You know what I mean? Especially with anger, because I was only taught how to process anger in negative ways as a kid, So with my kids, I try to make sure that they have the tools that they need to process their emotions in a healthy way. And being cooped up together, that can lead to a lot of different emotions for different people. All my kids are so different too. We have different personalities, different ways to handle things. So you're right. Once you get back to your normal routine and you all have your space, it can be easier for them too. I think we forget about the kids sometimes.
Absolutely. I can't remember exactly how many fights I broke up over the course of being home with them.
Your brothers?
Yeah, and Josie, and telling them to reminding them that I am still in training and that I can do for them what I can, but I can't do everything,
Yeah.
And
was your Zoom class all day?
Yes.
Oh wow. I bet that was tricky.
We did have 2 15-minute breaks and an hour lunch, which I was grateful for, and I was able to feed them and do for them what I could. But yeah, I think that it's important to acknowledge their emotions also and how it makes them feel to just get out of their routine. Speaking of that, dealing with emotions as a child, like I have very early memories of, okay, you have a cut, right? You have a cut and you get in the bath and the bath burns your wound basically. Yep. And I can remember being a little girl and being like telling my dad, I can't take a bath because my cuts will hurt, And he would say, don't cry. All you have to do is just like bear down, basically, like, and you'll be okay. And like I never saw him cry. My mom cried. She would kick me out of her room so I couldn't see her processing and feeling her emotions, And so I guess I grew up seeing crying as like a sign of weakness.
Bad thing. Yep.
Yeah. And so going through my addiction, I did cry a lot because of my depression. But then getting sober, I've had a lot of friends talk about their first few AA meetings. They just sat and sobbed.
Yep.
But I still had that mindset of that would be a sign of weakness for me.
I feel the same way, and it's strange because I cry about everything. And I hate it because when I'm like super mad, I start crying, and I'm the same way. I feel like that's how I was raised. Like, you don't cry, or I'll give you something to cry about. You know what I mean? Like, crying was a bad thing, but we cry for a reason. Our bodies, and I tell my kids, I tell my boys that. I make sure my boys know that, because my cousins and all the little boys around me, they weren't allowed to cry. You have emotions for a reason. Your body produces tears for a reason. It's a release. And so I still have that negative Like, it's a bad thing to cry. It was ingrained in me as a child. It's probably the same with you, but
Yes.
it's very healthy to cry. And there's some times where if I'm having a bad week, like I'll get in the car and I'll go by myself and I'll cry. I'll sob, just to release it and let it go, and then I'll be done with it, you know. But yes, it's okay to cry.
Definitely.
We have emotions for a reason.
I feel like I've healed a little bit in that sense because like you said, I can cry over anything.
Me too.
And I don't feel bad about it. And I will sit here on this couch and cry if I need to, like just letting it out. And I think the fact that my daughter knows and can openly express that it's okay to cry has helped me to heal, and heal through her.
Same with me and my kids, especially Ashton. And it's funny because me and my daughter, Kirsten, were exactly the same when it comes to like, we cry about everything. But we were joking about like, if we look at him too long or any little kid too long, they'll start crying, oh, it's the most beautiful thing, or music. Oh my gosh. Songs. I will bawl.
Yes.
Over some songs.
Definitely feel emotions through music.
Yeah, me too. I'm a big music person.
Yeah. Josie will have like a big cry over something, maybe not wanting to, I don't know, go stay at my grandma's or, something that she has to do basically. School. Yes. And after that I'll say, do you feel better? And she'll be like, yeah. And like you can just tell, like sometimes we need that release.
Tatum and I will be giving each other mental check-ins at Darlington because Josie will be crying and Ashton will be crying because they don't want to leave us. And I'm like, are you good? She's like, yeah, I'm good.
And I don't want to like I don't want to be mean and be like, get in that class.
I will not do that either. No, I let him work through it. And then I'm like, okay, baby, I have to go, but I will always come back for you, And he's still upset. And he goes to the teacher and they'll grab him, but I can't be mean to that little boy. I can't, Yeah. It's scary for them.
It is. And I like sometimes, some mornings I'm in a hurry, And
me
I'm
too.
Like,
yep.
Josie, I know that this is hard, but the quicker that you get up and go, the quicker I can get back.
Yeah.
And I love, I don't know if they do this in Ashton's class or not, but a classmate will come and grab Josie's hand. Aww. And like walk her, or the teacher or someone. But I think just having that support,
Yep.
Sometimes we need support as adults too.
Yep, that's right. We
it's
do.
Good to have people to reach out to and talk to when you need help.
That's right. Even when you're a little bitty person.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Back to that, like talking about crying and releasing your emotions and stuff. It wasn't until I was like 10 months sober, and I might have touched on this before, but I just was home alone and I sat at my dining room table and I wrote down on pen and paper every person that I hurt and every person that I wronged. And that is part of like the 12 steps that you work in AA or, Wellbriety too, admitting where you were wrong. And maybe I got ahead of myself, but I don't know. I just felt that I needed to do that. And after I did that, I had the biggest cry and it felt like such a release. Yep. And I felt like I was beginning a healing journey through that, and once you are able to start to forgive yourself, you can start living differently.
And that's a hard thing to do. Yeah, but you're right. I did something similar during COVID because, during lockdown, we were at home. I had a lot of time to think. And there was something like a shift inside of me that started continuing my healing journey. And I read about that in the 12-step program, how they make amends with people and how they write letters, right? So I wrote letters to my family, my kids, my sisters, my mother, and, apologized for things that I'd done that I was sorry for. But you're right. Like after I did that and I gave them the letters, I felt such a big relief too. A release, and it was very healing for me. And I'm so glad I did that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That you know, not even going through a program like that, and you were able to use that tool. Like these tools can be used for anyone. You know, they really are just a guide for living when you've been living wrong your whole life. You know.
Yep.
That's really cool. I worked with my sponsor over the course of a year and worked through all the steps. And step 12 of AA is to give back. You know, give back what was given to you. And technically that means to sponsor someone, but to me in my recovery, that has always meant to help wherever you can, no matter what. And I feel like I try to do that whenever I can.
You do.
Know? Because if you can help, why wouldn't you? You know? And maybe that's just a different mindset, but I try to teach that to Josie too.
Yeah. You are like really one of the most kindest people I've ever met. And I love that about you because you do go out of your way to help so many people. And honestly, that's pretty rare in the world now, is to find those people that without a doubt would help somebody. No questions asked. No, you don't care about getting recognition for it, you know, or anything like that. And that, I mean, you're a good person. You really are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think that part of that comes from like never having help.
Yep.
You know, like going through hard things in life and people turning on you instead of looking at everything and being like, okay, how can I help you?
Yeah.
You know? And this goes back to me just feeling so much gratitude for the people that have shared this past week, their honesty and stuff, because in addiction and in life, or in my life, I have, you know, you start with a group of people in your life and those people change and new people come in and people go. And, but in addiction, like you really start to burn bridges with people.
Yeah.
And then you look around in what used to be a big circle and it's like two people, you know, and it ended up being me and my mom. And it sucked because she was more of a friend than she was a mom, you know.
Yeah.
She was my drinking partner. Like that is it's so crazy to say that now looking at like where we're at today, you know.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I try to be there for people, and I'm blessed with experiences that I did go through alone and that I overcame alone, so that I know how it feels and I can be supportive to people, you know, that are going through that. Yeah, it's important, or it's so special to see the growth in my home, because my mom was frustrated last night about you know, fundraisers, okay, at school. But she doesn't just have to do one fundraiser, she has to do 3. And so she's having to sit down and type all these emails, and she's asking my brother's dad for help. And she's getting no responses. And she's also in the middle of bath time, bedtime, organizing for tomorrow. And she's kind of being snippy with the boys. And she's voicing her frustration to me, right? And I want to be able to validate her frustration, but not say anything that is going to make her more angry.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I'm very slow with my responses, and I'm just like, I understand that is frustrating. And I said, because I felt the need to speak up for my brothers, I said, it's not their fault that this is frustrating to you.
Yeah.
You know? And she said, you're right, but I am still allowed to be frustrated right now. And I said, and you are. And that was it, you know? And about 30 minutes later, she gets up and the little boys are like, "Where are you going, Mom?" She's like, "I got to go to Cash's room for a minute." And she went and apologized for being like that, you know? And
That's awesome.
yeah.
Because that's hard to do too, as a parent, to recognize, that you were in the wrong. Number one, my parents never, hardly ever apologized to me. And I mean, I think that was pretty common back then. But I apologize to my kids all the time because I am wrong all the time, or I act out in anger or frustration. And it's easy to do. But when you come back and you tell your kids, hey, I'm sorry, I was wrong, that's a big, big step. Proud of your mom for that. It's not easy.
I'm so proud of her and all of the growth and stuff. In the beginning of my journey, I had a lot of resentment because why did it have to start with me, you know?
Yeah.
But in doing so, it has worked through her, and now it has worked through my dad also.
Well, that's good.
I don't know if I've talked much about my dad on here. I feel like through addiction, you forget the importance of family, and then you were able to kind of rekindle those relationships that are still important to you, you know? And I'm not saying, if family is toxic, then they're and unhealthy. Absolutely. You don't have to, put forth that effort. But I could see that my dad was just hurting and not knowing how to move forward with his life. And
Your dad an addict too, right?
he struggled with substance abuse.
Okay.
Never consistently,
Okay.
more so like, I don't know, kind of like a pattern, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But basically he was given his last resort was to move into my grandparents' house. And it was kind of a I don't know what's next situation. So he moves into my grandparents' house. Well, because of his situation, my aunts did not believe that their children should be there. And for me, that is my dad. That will always be my dad. I always want him to be okay.
Yeah.
He's still a human being. We all go through things. But
Mm-hmm.
so, in saying this, I am the only person that did not keep my child from being around him. And we talk about children are medicine, and my dad is doing amazing. Yesterday, he
Good.
flew a plane again for the first time. He's a pilot.
Oh, wow.
He's up in South Dakota right now flying. There is just miles and acres to spray up there of fields. And the spraying, he was explaining to me, is a lot easier because there's no houses. When you fly here, you have to go over like houses and all of that. And so he's really, really happy where he's at today.
Well, that's
and
good.
I have to give some credit to Josie in his healing because she saw him as her pawpaw and she loved him regardless.
Yeah. That's the good thing about kids is like they just love you. Like they don't have any expectations. Like even man, it's sad. This is a sad story, but I used to be a foster care worker, and some of the children that had been through some really terrible things, they still love their parents. Even if their parents were responsible for those terrible things, they still love their parents. And children are really beautiful that way. Like they're so loving and they give it unconditionally no matter what. They have no expectations of you. They don't see you for your faults. They just love you. And I think we can all learn from that. And like you said, get that healing from them through that.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad that your dad's doing good.
I just have to share these things because this is what recovery can do for you. Your family can come back together, you can be healthy again. Just so many blessings. And Josie was in the back seat and she was texting my dad, and I could barely hear her because she's whispering into the phone, and she's like, "Hey, Papa, if you call me, I'll answer." And she sends it, and I guess he calls. They talk on the phone for a little bit, and I said, "Josie, you need to let Papa know that the phone is at 1 and that we'll call him back whenever we get home." And so they hang up, and Josie goes, "He is my best friend." You know
Aw.
that? And like that just made me so emotional because, like, really, even I mean, my dad really didn't know what direction his life was going in. But when Josie was at my grandma's house, because they are my support people, they're my help with her.
Mhm.
He played with her and he danced with her, and she taught him her hip hop and jazz dances, you know, and he did it. Um, yeah, I don't know. He's healing, and he will not be home from South Dakota until I believe Thanksgiving. But and I'm really bad about keeping up communication over the phone. It's been my goal this year to work on that. But I'm
It's
really
hard.
glad that he is keeping the communication with us as well, you know, even being far
Yeah.
away.
It's a two-way thing too. It really is.
Absolutely.
What else you got for us?
Man, I just learned so much in my training. Oh, we had to do this this exercise, and he had us like look at this card, and it was a sentence with a lot of F's in it. And some people saw 5 F's, some people saw 7, and some people saw 13. And there is a correct answer. It's almost like a riddle or something.
Uh-huh.
And the people that saw 7 and 5 have like a blind eye, basically. You know, and I thought that was a really cool exercise that we did, because it's all about really focusing in and really, like, what do we turn a blind eye to, you know?
That's interesting.
I don't know. But yeah, it was really cool. It's my phone. I read a quote last night, and I'm a big quote person, and so I wanted to share it today because oh, there you go. Yeah, you're fine.
Oh. Probably pretty bad. So I count the F's?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Mhm.
Okay.
Did I talk about that right?
Yeah.
The blind eye,
She's
yeah.
gonna try to force 13 or 14. Yeah. I swear there's 20. It's not 900.
What? Really?
It's been paying up to be right.
3 is what I see.
Ooh.
What's the right answer?
I can't remember what she said. 13.
I think there's like 13 F's. I only saw 7, so I don't feel bad. And you're only supposed to look at it for 1 minute.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm gonna read this quote to you guys while they're doing this.
I wish you guys could see this because this is
We're
some.
sitting here like,
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so the quote is, "Healing is not becoming the best version of yourself. Healing is letting the worst version of yourself be loved." And that spoke volumes to me.
See, I only see 7.
Yeah. Okay, that explains it. So, but I have to explain why I only saw 3 is because whenever I was a kid, they taught us how to speed read. Do you remember that? So you would skip over those small words and form the sentence in your head, a quicker way to read.
Yeah. So if you ever see those pictures like on Facebook
Uh-huh.
where the words are all scrambled,
Mhm.
like when we were taught to read when we were younger, like you look at the first
Right.
and last letter,
That's it.
and you automatically, just because you've read so much, like you automatically know what that word is.
Yep.
Really?
And you form that
So you
sentence.
form that sentence.
Yep.
And the letters can be completely jumbled, and you know what the sentence is.
Yep.
Just because you've seen the word so much.
Yep. See, so it's really because I'm smart. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Me not. having any problems.
I'm just kidding. No, but that's pretty interesting. The brain works in really cool and strange ways. It really does. And also, kind of like everyone has a different perspective too. You know, do you guys remember that blue dress or gold dress?
Yes.
That
Oh my
is crazy.
gosh,
Can y'all see it?
that made me crazy.
It's n-
Might not focus. Darn it.
We'll have to put it in the the comments,
Yeah.
and you guys tell us how many F's you see. Should we read some of these comments? Looks like there's some good ones. Aw, Nyaket Drew, Cassandra. We love Cassandra.
She's in Florida right now.
Are you?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
training.
Safe travel, sister. Those plane rides are pretty crazy. Hi, Jen from Billings, Montana. Hi, Cecilia. Naomi from California. Cash Black Bear. I am 1 year clean off of fentanyl. I just got back from California. I was in a sober living for a year. Congratulations, Cash. We're proud of you for that. That's a wonderful accomplishment.
That's amazing. Getting to stay and focus on your recovery for a year is um, that's awesome. You know, because it's hard. Addiction is hard.
Yeah, it is. Tatum and I talked a couple episodes back, and I was trying to, relate to the recovery, and I was like, I've really never. I mean, I've drank, I've done substances, but I never struggled. Like I was always able. I never really liked drinking at all. Just wasn't my thing. But anything else, I've always been able to just put down because I like being clear minded. I like being sober. It's the weirdest thing that people think, but I mean, I do. I like being sober. But I do struggle with addiction. I have struggled with bad eating habits my entire life, which is also an addiction. Sugar is an addiction. Um, there's different addictions for people, and we all struggle with something. But I'm so proud of you, Cash. It was very hard, but if I can do it, I was hooked on fentanyl ever since 2020. Wow. We're glad you're still here with us. That's so dangerous. And so hard that opioids are hard to quit. You know, I had a loved one who was struggled with that type of addiction, and to see him literally sick, from not from the withdrawals, I just, man, it's hard. So we're proud of you, Cash. Proud of all of you that are in recovery.
I had an old classmate come in to see me yesterday at work,
Awesome.
and I'm so open about my recovery now. It's like it's not my intro,
Mhm.
but also I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm not afraid to share about it. She told me that she did after high school, she got really bad into drugs for 5 years and woke up one day and decided that she needed something different and got clean and sober all on her own.
Wow.
And I commend her for that
That
because
it's hard.
that is something I could not do.
Yeah.
I tried and I made it 9 days sober on my own, and it didn't work for me. And so I love hearing those stories of people that they're willing to share it with me because they know that I've walked that same road.
Yep, they feel comfortable with you and they know you won't judge them. A lot of people, a lot of addicts get judgment. My dad was one of those people that he, quit using substances cold turkey because he was forced with a decision. Like, you're either around your grandkids or you're not. And this was many years ago, but he chose the grandkids, and he, was able to do that, but not many people can. It's hard. It's really hard.
I also had a client share with me that like I think it was her father-in-law. He woke up one morning and he poured all of his alcohol out, and he wanted every single picture gone of him holding a drink or buy a drink or anything. And so everyone in the way that they process this transition because it is a transition.
Yeah.
You know, you're going from living one life to rock bottom or wherever addiction takes you
Mm-hmm.
to starting completely new.
Yep. And learning how to cope instead of numb.
Absolutely.
Yep. I mean, I don't understand why a lot of people judge addicts because, I mean, we all struggle and we all have ways that we cope in unhealthy ways. You know what I mean? We're all so similar and we all have trauma for the most part. So I've always understood like people that struggle because I struggle. Just because I don't drink or numb that way doesn't mean that I don't do it in another way. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And we just shouldn't judge each other. We should support each other and we should have each other's back, especially as tribal members, tribal people, even indigenous communities. We have to support one another and tying our culture into it. I love that Tor does that in our other program, Tradition Not Addiction, because bringing you back to your culture and your roots, that helps tremendously. You know, it helps you focus and get recentered.
Yeah, absolutely. I learned a lot about that in my training too. The traditional practices
Mhm.
and things like that. Things that I was unsure of, just because I've been around it, but didn't grow up that way.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that.
So, real quick, John put the sentence up there. So I want you guys to count the F's and see how many you see. It's pretty interesting.
Mhm.
But like John knows what I was talking about when we were kids. They used to teach us how to speed read and how to skip over the smaller words and form the sentence in your head already. So it was tricky for me.
ADHD has me reading things about 5 times before I come going back, reading it again, reading it out loud.
Yeah,
Like I can
I do
never
that
speed
sometimes.
read.
I do that sometimes too. My ADHD is more with cleaning. Like,
Really?
yes. I'll sit there and scrub, you know.
Mhm. I see 6 F's.
Cash said, I don't want our kids to go through this struggle because drugs are hard to get away from. Very true. I chose to turn my life around for the better. My roommate passed away, from fentanyl use at the sober living house. I pray our kids don't go through that. Me too, Cash. I'm very sorry about your roommate. I would love to tell my story. Well, we would love to hear it. We would. Good morning, Brother Kendrick. Electricity 7. What is the correct answer? Do y'all remember?
I think it's 13. I don't know.
I don't know where you're getting.
I don't. Okay.
Oh, there. I see 7 now. Yes.
I think it's 7 is correct. Electra got it right.
I saw 7, but he was. I don't know. Maybe.
I only counted 3, so. Yep.
People in that training were all over the world. There was a guy in Australia.
Oh,
And he
wow.
woke up at 3 in the morning for the training.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
Right. So the last time we got on here for women's wellness, we left them with a challenge.
Hmm.
Challenged them to slow down in the morning and be with their kids. And I challenge you guys to see people as human beings.
Yep.
This week, put your expectations on the ground and pick up some acceptance and see people for who they are. And this might just change your thinking a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
because once I was able to see people just as human beings, like you just can't put them in a category,
Yep.
Know that people struggle with addiction, mental illness,
Trauma.
trauma.
Yep.
People struggle.
Yep.
So if you're able to do that, it allows you to be there for them a little bit.
Yep,
You know,
I agree.
easier.
Less judgment, more love. I love this council on alcoholism and addictions of the Finger Lakes says live in love.
Live and love.
I love that. I really do. Because I feel like the world would be a better place if we all practiced that.
Mhm. Absolutely.
That was a good way to end, I think, Tatum.
Cool.
Thank you guys for joining us.
See you next week.
See you next week.